Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. We're at the Better BF Bivol press conference. Shane, you've rocked up. Chris Smith, I understand the fight is officially done, dusted, signed.
Yeah, exactly. It's signed Gilberto Ramirez November the 16th, so looking forward to it.
What is there any delays in, because I think initially there was some stuff going on, but what was the reason for the delay?
No, nothing really, like just some contractual things going on, but that's nothing major. Just just had to sort of make sure that it was all in everyone's, because at the end of the day, when you're going to go box on a Golden Boy show, you want to make sure that ring size, things like that, is all like the little finite details. You have to make sure that there's neutral judges and things like that. So yeah, once we got that all signed off, we're happy.
I think today might be the first time, I might be wrong, Jai and Chris come face to face. Is that the?
No, they were at Rath and Bone Gym a while ago, but I don't think Chris was. Not sure if Chris was a world champion then. I don't think he was. So yeah, second time.
Okay. Any because obviously Jai's been calling for that fight for a long time, but you guys are going down a different route. How hard or easy is Ramirez for Chris?
It's a very hard fight. Look at what he's done against Guillamarian in his last fight. Guillamarian was this beast coming in, throwing X amount of punches. Everyone talked about his power. And Ramirez, one thing's for sure, he's got great punch output. He's tough, southpaw, got that size from obviously coming up from light heavy. That's got a little bit of speed as well. It's nowhere near a walkover at all. It's a very, very hard fight. So he's just beaten a very good champion in Guillamarian. So we got to be on 100%. That's for sure.
A busy period coming up. Just recently announced AZIM O'Hara Davis, a fight that nobody on this planet saw coming when it got made. Why O'Hara Davis? Because prior to that, obviously, it was Harlem Eubank, and then there was talk of Dalton Smith. But on paper, you're now fighting a guy that's touched world level and only lost to world level fighters.
Yeah, he has. Catchall points. And then Josh Taylor knocked out, and also he got blown away in a round. But that wasn't really a true reflection of him. He's a good fighter, and I think it's a great fight for Adam. It's a British name as well. It's going to help. At the end of the day, we took Harlem Eubank because we wanted a British name. We wanted some form of domestic rivalry that's going to build his profile. And Harlem Eubank was given options, but I understand where he's coming from. The fight was pushed back a few months, and he got tired of it, and he probably felt like people were messing him about, but no one was messing him about. It's just Sky and Boxer trying to find the right date, trying to find the right venue. We even went down to, we had it that we were going down to Brighton on that same day, and he pulled out, so we found a replacement, and we were going to go for a former world champion, but Ben Shalom wanted to fight O'Hara Davies, and yeah, we accepted. I think it's a decent enough fight.
Is it a harder fight than Harlem Eubank?
No, I think you gain more from it because he's been at the world level and he's worked his way up. But I think stylistically, I don't think so.
I've got to speak to you about the fight of the weekend, AJ Dubois. Obviously, you've trained Daniel for a long time, so you know what he was going to expect. But prior to the fight, obviously, the first bell going, did any part of you expect that kind of outcome?
Yes. Yeah.
Based on
Daniel's the fact that Daniel throws caution to the wind and lets his hands go, and he's willing to let his hands go early on in the fight. So heavyweight boxing, Daniel's a ferocious puncher. I talked about it previously. I think he can knock anybody out. It's just whether he hits them, and he hit AJ reasonably early in the fight, and it was a massive turning point in the fight once he landed that right hook at the end of the first round.
There's some talk of whether AJ was not at the races, and other people are saying maybe Daniel was better than him. Well, what is it? Is it Anthony Joshua not being at the races, or is Daniel Dubois just a better fighter and he won on the night?
Hard for me to say because I don't want to come across not bitter, but just I don't want to take anything away from Daniel Dubois' performance because me and him and his family, his dad, we never fell out. We chose to go separate ways. I advised him to go with Don Charles. I thought that was a great move for him, and it's all worked out. It's been great for them. But I think it was more Anthony Joshua's approach to the fight rather than Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois would have done that. He would have approached that fight like that even when he turned professional. That's his mentality. Don Charles said seek and destroy. That was what their mission was. So, you know, a guy like that, heavy-handed, athletic, brave, wants to go and let his hands go. You just got to keep drilling that and making sure that that's his thought process. Don't get him to step back and try and reassess things. Just make sure he's getting himself into nudging himself into punching distance. Is that yours? It's probably yours. Oh no, it's mine. So yeah, get himself into punching distance and letting his hands go. It was more AJ's approach, in my opinion.
Obviously, we talk about his approach, and then we get to that round 4. You know, it's a video that's gone viral online. People will have seen it, where AJ comes into the corner and he says Daniel's shit. Just on that actual comment there, saying Daniel's shit, where do you think that could have come from? Is that him maybe still not recovered from the knockdowns, or is he genuinely saying that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to comment. Whether he sees openings that he couldn't let his hands go and present, whether he felt like his programs were, his punching combinations were programmed and he could sort of like ride them. I don't know. You kind of get a gauge of what's in front of you, or it's just maybe it's just himself just trying to convince himself, you know, that he's he's more than comfortable and calm in there, even though he's been hurt numerous times. Maybe it's just him, you know, saving face, as it were. So I don't know. Only he can really answer that one.
He went on to obviously talk about the fight, saying, you know, warrior spirit, this is what we live for. And then obviously he was given the instructions to double up the jab and bring it up, which you translated as, you know, they're going for the uppercut. And I heard you say in the commentary, it's a dangerous shot. He'll get countered by the right. It was almost like Mystic Meg. I don't know if you know the numbers for the next week's lottery, but that's literally what happened 20 seconds later.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So the clip is literally... it's out there to see, and yeah, that's just it, really.
What made you so confident that, obviously you've trained Daniel, so obviously that's the reason why I'm guessing, but normally when somebody's throwing a right uppercut, you might think the left hook's going to come in, but what made you so confident that Dan will go for the short right?
It's the shot to go against an uppercut. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, listen, they had their reasons for looking at certain shot selections, but you know, it is what it is. It's a fantastic shot.
Is Dan open to the uppercut? Do you think if somebody was fighting him, if obviously I've not gone up against him yet?
They had their reasons, and that's probably why they chose that shot. I'm not going to go and say what I would have done, because I know what I would have done, and I know what we would have drilled in camp, and I'm not sure it would have been the same as what they drilled.
And the last thing on that subject, because I spoke to a few trainers, Dominic Ingle yesterday and Dave Colwell, and we talked about, you know, the comments about rolling the dice. Obviously, it was round 5. What do you make of that? You know, the idea of rolling the dice and going. Was that the right moment to pick that?
I think later on in the clip, I said if it was me, I would, you know, tell him to keep his hands up and try and survive. You know, Daniel was expending a lot of energy in those rounds trying to finish him. AJ was hurt numerous times in those first couple of rounds, but you know, he weathered a lot of the storms, and even though he was dropped, he got up and managed to find ways to get through. And at the end of the day, he's 34, 35 years of age. He's been in combat a long time. You know, if you're in combat and you've been hurt a few times like that, it's early on in the fight to be trading up. And even though, you know, he hurt him, it's still, if you hurt someone once, you can hurt them again. But this was prior to him hurting him. I just think, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it was their approach, and that's how they felt in the corner. They know their man, so I'm not going to go sitting here shitting on somebody. Like, it's what they felt was right. So yeah.
And then away from that, you know, Ben Davison, he did the press conference afterwards, and I respect him for this. He said that we've took the plaudits when it's gone right, and we've got to take the criticism when it goes wrong. So as a coach, obviously you must have been in that situation. How hard is it to kind of sit back now and people to pick holes in everything you've said, everything you've done, when prior to this people are like, oh, that was a game plan to knock Ngannou out, it worked, because that's the world we live in now. How hard is it for the coach to kind of be in that situation?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to sort of like it's an ego thing, right? So like he's getting the praise, he's getting everything he wants from the sport, and now it's gone full 360, and that's what boxing can do. But it's just when you believe your own hype. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Shane, I appreciate your time. I know you got to go. Thank you very much for that.